I think you've said at some stage you had as many as 8 out at one point. What's the latest on the injury situation?
Well, we'll probably have to wait till the last minute for the likes of Ben Parker, Jordan Roberts, and see if they're fully fit and able to play. But that adds to already big players like JP Pittman and Lloyd Kerry being out, Dominic Knowles being out, Jack Emmett being out, Wayne Brooksby just coming back, not fully match fit yet, but they started to train and be involved, got on the pitch the other night. And you hope those players come right up to scratch very quickly. It's not easy. Danny Ellis obviously just returned from a calf strain as well, is in contention. But yet it's getting a fully fit 11, either that's played a few games back to back to be up to the level necessary, or those out injured that we're desperate to get back as well.
Luke Shields as well, didn't mention him.
He's got a dead leg, we'll have to see tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
But it should be okay.
As we talked about last week, you're in the middle of a really difficult run. Kidderminster this weekend, they brought a lot of fans last time. They're up there at the top of the table like yourselves. Are you going to change your approach
Darlington
this week?
Tomorrow, yeah. It's Kidderminster.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
Kidderminster Tuesday. Yeah, Darlington will bring probably, I would expect probably about 1,500. It'd be a fantastic atmosphere. And having teams like that really do raise the profile of this league. And we've got a decent reputation, like you'd like to think, for fighting it out at the top end as well. So should be a great turnout from both sets of supporters, and should be a great atmosphere.
And can that be the one thing that lifts you at the moment? I mean, getting the fans behind you and having home advantage this time around. Is that what you need when you're struggling? The players just need that bit of a lift.
They do need that boost, and sometimes we said last year that they will the ball into the back of the net, especially the Kop end. And that's what happens when you get everyone behind you, and the supporters are tremendously loyal here. We've lost a few on the bounce. I think there's unusual circumstances involved with that because of either freaky goals going in or the odd individual error that's not a characteristic of some of our main players. But it's the pressure of having so many key players out can tell sometimes, but that's when you need your raw behind you, and I'm sure the fans will be amazing tomorrow. Witnessing
some of the leading sides in this league, is there anything there that you've seen that leads you to think that you can't match some of these teams as the season goes on?
No, that's the pleasing thing about the last two games, that we've had a lot of possession against two very good teams who've invested heavily in their setup. They're both full-time teams, and yet we've finished stronger than both sides, I would suggest, fairly. We've created open chances, but vitally, we haven't put them away. We've had open net two or three times in the last two games, and it's just a case of passing the ball in the back of the net. But that is football. We've had deflected goals. We've had 2 shots from the halfway line that have ended up in the back of the net because we're pushing. So everyone's gone up, including the keeper, in the dying seconds, and these things happen.
Yeah.
You go through certain spells. I've been in it since I was 16. I'm 39 in a couple of months. I know that you do get through it if you stay strong and together.
I guess with every injury crisis, it does mean there's an opportunity for perhaps either fringe players or young players or new players coming in. And Marcus Day made his debut last weekend. What did you make of him?
I think he's been great. He's been like a breath of fresh air. He did well at Fylde, did his job on and off the ball, and then the other night he rose his game again. So it's a great sign. He's had probably a 7 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10 in his first 2 games. So he's grabbed his opportunity. And when people knock on the door, as they do sometimes as players, and say, I deserve a chance, and then you look back and think, well, you've had 5 or 6 chances and not done it. This young kid is coming from nowhere and really risen to the occasion, and he deserves a start ahead of certain others.
And finally, speaking to us last week, you did tease a couple of players you were looking to bring in. Any words on that, or any word about any further signings coming?
Chris Elliott, goalkeeper, has joined the ranks this morning. He was with us a few years ago on a non-contract, but also on loan from Bradford City. Really come of age, big unit now, and very, very loud behind the back four, which gives us good contrasting styles to the current keeper and enables competition for places.